you're going to invest, I wouldn't say the same effort that you would on a regular sale, but to close a partnership, you will invest 120, 150% the effort that you would on a regular sale, but you're getting 10 to 20 times the outcome out of it. Influencers that usually want to work with you, or that come forward to work with you, are typically not the influencers that you want to target. So on the content marketing side, for instance, we've got a few formats, co-marketing formats, that are already thought out for our partners, and they need to fill out a form, send it, and they will get published in our site. We're super generous with backlinks, super generous with co-marketing formats. We've created libraries where, for instance, they can have templates with them showcased as an author. They can input commentaries, and he was tracking essentially the signups that were happening related to the moment when a post was created. So he was estimating free trials accordingly to the post.
Welcome back on Alliances, the podcast where we deep dive into the best B2B partnership strategies. Today I'm joined by Lilibeth Acuña for a new episode from Lemlist. She has built such a revenue machine in less than 2 years. I'm very excited and happy to have you today, Lilibeth. Welcome on Alliances.
Thank you very much for the invite. It's really been a pleasure to be invited to your podcast now.
Yeah, as always, Lily, we start, with the guest. So can you please introduce yourself?
For sure. So I think the very first thing that you need to, and everybody knows about me, is that I'm Ecuadorian. So I come from the other side of the world. We're in Paris now. And second, that I'm very young. I think that's, you can tell from my face. And the third one is that I have had a career that I've explored just many different things, from video production to PR later, so media. And then I'm finally in SaaS, which has definitely been a discovery for me. That's me in a nutshell. Aside of that, I have lots of handicraft hobbies. I do photography as well. That's me.
So cool. I think it's very inspiring because you did so many things, from video to working with marketing agencies, and then ending up at Lemlist. Can you maybe share more how did you end up at Lemlist?
For sure. So the first step to arrive in Lemlist is arriving in Paris. And before I arrived in Paris, I was working on a marketing agency, an Ecuadorian marketing agency that later got bought by an American one. And I was working with American media. So I was essentially doing a PR. I opened up actually an offering on the PR side for this marketing agency. So we were selling essentially a retainer where we would engage with media in the US for our clients. And there was a company in Paris that was interested specifically into this background of me getting or having a network in American media. So I got imported to France through this company, Singularity it was called. And quickly after, I changed to Lemlist. I had already had Lemlist kind of like in the back of my mind because I had seen their marketing. They were always very, very strong on personal brand on LinkedIn. They had this overall, and everybody that has seen Lemlist on LinkedIn, they kind of know what I'm talking about, but they have this kind of like shine around them going on. And it looked like the kind of place that Lemlist is the kind of place that is really blind to anything else rather than performance. Like everything else doesn't count, meaning nationality, age. We have C-level right now, Kevin, who is, he must be 24 or 25 now. And he started out as an intern on Lemlist when he was perhaps 20. So Lemlist is the kind of place where who you are and what you do speaks much more louder than anything else. So that really, really spoke to me back then. And I arrived in Lemlist to do partnerships, which was an absolutely new job for me because I had no experience in partnerships aside from having exchanged in media, having done sponsorships in the past, having done other types of partnerships that I didn't know they were partnerships. But I was very happy to just go into a new challenge right there. That's how I arrived in Lemlist.
Cool. We are going to deep dive into what you're doing right now in the partnerships. But I think maybe first, can you introduce Lemlist and what you are doing globally?
For sure. Many people might know Lemlist as this cold emailing platform or as this bootstrapped phenomenon in France, founded by Guillaume Mauvais. And Lemlist has evolved a lot since then. It's not a cold outreach platform anymore. It's a sales engagement platform at the moment. We changed the position of the product. We changed the features and the capabilities of the product as well. Lemlist is right now, just a little bit of metrics. Lemlist is at 33 millions in annual recurring revenue at the moment, as of today. Actually, I checked the update today. And it's really been a phenomenon, really, because it's a bootstrapped company. So it's huge growth for a company that did not raise funds. Guillaume did do a cash out a while back, but it's essentially a company that grew from zero to what it is now. And what else about Lemlist? On Lemlist itself, for people that do not know the product, you can find leads, meaning you can find their email information, their phone information, and then outreach through different channels. So you can build sequences where you would input touch points on LinkedIn, on email. You can put as well calls, WhatsApp steps now. We just included WhatsApp, and today we opened up SMS. And it's a tool that's built for sales teams, for sales persona. So it's we say that it's the unfair advantage for sales teams. So where a salesperson can just go and get their quotas attained.
Yeah, that's cool. And before the recording, you told me that you switched from founders to the sales team. You changed the ICP. Was it linked to this partnership strategy or just a company move?
So it was parallel, and it's very important that it was parallel because it was a challenge on the partnership side. I arrived at Lemlist in March 2023, and during 2021, 2022, Lemlist had already experienced a little bit of a plateau. So we were still growing, but not growing as fast as we were from 2018 to 2021. And there was also a shift in leadership. So we were shifting from Guillaume, which is the founder, to Charles Denot as the CEO. So this change in leadership also implied, of course, a change in positioning of the product. And with it, multiple things happened. One, we shift ICPs, as you were saying. We changed from targeting our historical ICP that is agencies, our historical ICP that is founders, small companies, and some of agencies, and actually anything and everything that moves. It was a little bit of a mixture back then, to targeting specifically sales teams. Now we're specifically aiming at sales teams that have between 5 to 25 people in them, and we're talking about companies that have between 50 to 500 employees, more or less. We, of course, have companies that go outside of the range, but that's essentially the ICP that we're going for now. This was followed due to a change in strategy of creating more stickiness, so going for clients that would just stay longer with the product, because it's more difficult to change when you have a whole team. If you have 12 people using a product every day, it's going to be more difficult to churn than if you have one person that's just using the tool every day. They're going to change any day. So it was essentially this shift in strategy, and also because we wanted to go towards or in the kind of like creative direction of the product, we wanted to go towards more personalized and qualitative outreach overall, and not towards the mass outreach that you can find out there in other platforms. So that was one. And that was the first change. And then we needed to do with the product what we needed to do to get it essentially to the level and to the requirements of this new ICP, which is why we integrated the fact of finding contacts information within the platform, adding new channels as well. We used to have only email and LinkedIn. And in parallel, I had just arrived. I had the mission of building the partnerships first program. And actually, this creates the shift of like why we started with partnerships, which is essentially because we had a lot of inbound, and this is quite a golden opportunity to have. I don't know if many partnership managers have experienced the same thing as I have, but I arrived to a company that had already a bunch of inbound from agencies, that had already a product market fit, that had people that were already building offerings into their companies based on our product. So that was a golden opportunity for me, even if I did not know what I was doing. So I quickly understood that the first thing that I needed to do was interviewing the people that were interested in partnering with Lemlist, which back then were essentially agencies linked to marketing, linked to sales, or self-creating names for them like outbound agencies or lead generation agencies. They kind of created their own categories, but they were essentially using the tool to serve to clients and do the work for them, because typically a tool with Lemlist does require a little bit of a level to it has a learning curve. So a person that will know how to execute it, they create essentially offerings around it, which is why there was so much inbound coming for us, and we needed to do something about it. Yeah.
So that was the first move. Actually, you just arrived. You've seen that you're already some inbound from agencies, and then you said, okay, I must go for agencies right now. Just do some interviews. And what was the next move then?
It was, I think the first move is definitely to conciliate why we should do it, because for me it was evident that this was a new growth lever. But as I was saying, we were just experiencing a change in ICPs. So this change in ICPs could have very well meant, okay, we're not doing anything else with agencies, we're not working with agencies anymore. And the needed change that or the change of paradigm that I had to propose on Lemlist was rethinking agencies not as customers and clients, but rather as channels. So they were not direct sales, they were indirect sales. And it's something that we need to really present to leadership at Lemlist, because it was really difficult to sell the fact that this was a growth lever that we could open up on Lemlist. So I'd say first thing that I need to do after interviewing and understanding who this persona was selling the fact that this could be a good growth engine. For me, it's evident in any company that whenever you already have people that are willing to get customers for you, it's just an obvious move. Because you're gonna invest, as I was telling you before, you're gonna invest I wouldn't say the same effort that you would on a regular sale, but to close a partnership, you will invest 120, 150% the effort that you would on a regular sale, but you're getting 10 to 20 times the outcome out of it. So it makes absolute sense to invest, even if it takes a little bit more effort, to go after this, because they're gonna bring afterwards just continuously more deals and more pipeline to you.
Yeah, and I think you gave me the metrics. It was a good bet, to bet on partnerships at Lemlist. We're gonna speak about that later on. But yeah, you said something very interesting is regarding the leadership, etc. How did you engage the company behind you? Because it's not that easy when you are just joining a company. It was also your first partnership mission. How did you sell the fact that, that's the right thing to do?
I think the first thing I did was buy myself a little bit of time. So I was creating the side project that was not strategic to the company back then. And when I attained the first metrics, and we were already dealing with like 5 to 6% of acquisition from partners, like partner-sourced revenue to the company, that's when on leadership it started to seem something that it was worth continuing to explore. I think it was arrived that moment when we went for the next move, that was integrating revenue sharing, because during the first months on Lemlist, we created a partnership program that was exclusively built around what we could provide for them outside of revenue share. So it was a lot of co-marketing, it was a lot of lead sharing, it was a lot of visibility, also a lot of direct contact with us, but it did not have the revenue shared part. That while it's the cherry on top, it's needed. It's needed because, of course, these are companies that are building offerings around the business that you can do with them. So we added that aspect in. We used PartnerStack to do it, which is a platform that's really, really heavy, and whoever has managed, they know that what I'm talking about. But yeah, we built the whole revenue shared aspect of it, which was challenging to say the least, because no devs on Lemlist had before created any sort of attribution system that included affiliation. So our data team really leveled up with it. On our devs as well, they made huge efforts to make it happen, make it possible. And we created a first offering that we actually got it wrong because it was too complex. The commission structure was too complex. It was ranging like from 18 to 22 depending on the type of product, and we made it a whole schema that it was just impossible to understand. And quickly after, like 3 months after, we changed to a simple 25% commission type of deal, and with it we opened a second tier. So back then, actually, to recap, we had already opened the agency program, which is focused on this type of persona that was building offerings around Lemlist and implementing Lemlist and running Lemlist for clients. And then we opened another tier, which is affiliation. That it's the most basic type of partnership that you can find out there. It was meant for content creators, for marketplaces, for media publishers, etc., and also for small consultants.
Okay.
Yeah. So we had these 2 tiers.
And I know that you're evolving in a strong, you have many competitors. That's the competitive landscape that you have at Lemlist. Do you think that the commission today is mandatory? That if you're not sharing any revenue, that's a problem for your partners? Because I like what you said, that you give visibility, you give leads, you give a lot to your partners. I think that's the main thing to do. But what I also understand now is that giving commission is cherry on top, but also something important for your partner.
The thing is, the partner is building their business based on the metrics that they can get out of you. So if we're talking about a consulting business, for example, that they're doing exclusively a Lemlist implementation or CRM integration with Lemlist, they're going to bill, I don't know, $3,000 for the implementation. But they need to sustain and complement that offer also what they are selling on this offering, which is your product. So it's kind of like giving from both sides. It's what in French would be donnant-donnant. Yeah.
The give to get. And also you don't have, I think, this effort to implement also the customer. It's all done by the agency.
Exactly. So and especially when you're talking about partner sourced leads, it's the partner who's bringing that customer forward. You can think of alternative ways of doing it when you're sharing the leads towards partners, but when it's a partner bringing you business, the most logical thing for it is for it to feel fair. And at times it's not even about the percentage or about the specific number. Plenty of partners might come in and be like, I don't care if it's like 20 or 25 or 15, like I really don't mind. But it's the basis of it, of feeling like an actual shaking hands and saying, okay, we agreed to work on this together and we're going to get both benefit out of it. But you definitely need to sit down and see what's really worth for your partner after all. If it's the money, if it's the visibility, if it's the credibility, if it's the leads that you can get to them. But the lead sharing, it's a basis of it all.
Yeah, and I think, the first bet on agencies was quite evident because you have this inbound coming from them. But how did you build the program then? Because you're also evolving to affiliation, to influence. How did you make this program evolve?
I think it was very smart to start with the benefits that were not revenue share, because a revenue share, it's the most obvious thing that you can put up. But the fact that we started with alternative benefits made us build machines for every single benefit. So on the content marketing side, for instance, we've got a few formats, co-marketing formats, that are already thought out for our partners, and they need to fill out a form, send it, and they will get published in our site. we're super generous with backlinks, super generous with co-marketing formats. We've created libraries where, for instance, they can have templates with them showcased as an author. They can input commentaries into the blog. So that's one. All of the benefits were already thought through before we started scaling the program. So that really allowed the programs to feel very catered towards our partners before we put in the money part into it. But now to your question, was it more about?
Yeah, maybe understand, how, so the first partners, it was obvious that it was agencies, and then you moved to, I think, more, influencers or more affiliates partners. How did you build that?
For sure. So on the affiliate side, I think it allowed us to scale in a way that the first program did not allow us to, because the first program that we built, what is called now the Service Partners Program, it was super catered for our partners. So it has a limit of how much we could scale it, how much human time we can put into it. The affiliates program, on the other side, it allowed us to tend to the tier that was not able to drive as much volume of referrals, and was also did not have the same needs that an agency would need, because an agency has lots of need of accompaniment and walking with them at all times. So the affiliates program, it really allowed us to go and scale the whole business. So it's meant to plenty of personas, the personas that we've kind of just put all into one group. But what they share in common is that they have the ability to refer Lemlist towards their professional activity, and at the moment that they're ready to scale their level of engagement with us, we're also able to offer a higher tiered program. But essentially, we created this two-tiered system where in less volume and more mass approach to the referrals, it would go into the affiliates one, and then service to the specific type of persona that it's more into implementation of Lemlist itself.
Yeah, that's very interesting. How do you involve also your marketing department into that? Because you're creating content, you're involving influencers. How do you involve your marketing department into that strategy?
I think we've done format by format. So for on the co-marketing side, we've tried to make it as once again as scalable as possible. We have 1,500 partners, so we need to make things scalable. We have formats that are specifically for top partners that are around 150, but our formats are typically something that would be easy to produce and reproduce. So to give you an example, we've got this page that we create for influencers, and I can talk about the influencer move in a little bit. I have not yet introduced it, but we have this pages that we can create for them that would be like lemlist.com/ the name of the influencer, like Harry and his name. And the page would be super easy to duplicate as a CMS collection. We created it back then on Webflow, but now we're migrating to Storyblok as well. But essentially, it should be a page that's easy to replicate. And I think the header was something like build your sales motion like name. A couple of variables like the picture, like a quote that we would even integrate from their post on LinkedIn, and underneath a carousel of templates that they have already published for us beforehand. So it's a page that's super easy to reproduce, and you can even create workflows with Clay and other tools to publish it. And that's really qualitative kind of like content that on their end will be very easy to share as well on their channels, but does not take a bunch of our time. It's not that every time we take a day to co-produce a specific piece. And we try to create this logic for different content formats. So same for, we create this cold outreach template, so a sequence that they've created and that we put them as an author, a comment that they put on the blog. We do have deeper formats such as success stories, and those we need to work with them a little bit more. But the logic is there to create and make it reproducible, with keeping the value right there.
Yeah. Uh, why did you target influencers, and maybe how did you do that? Because I see many influencers that are recommending several brands, but at the same time you're in specific industry. How did you target the right ones?
That's an excellent question. It's something that I'm actually 100% learning from Erwan, our new head of growth. He arrived from Folk, and he had run the whole influencer motion at Folk as well. And we started with this project with the influencer side about 5 months ago, I want to say. We started out testing with around 15 influencers. We're still at around 2025, and we want to keep it very low volume, high quality on this type of partnership. One, because it requires the dynamic is completely different to any other type of partnership, because we, of course, pay per content piece, and there's a logic of evaluating the content and nourishing them with content as well. So low volume, high quality. And the way that we source for them, it's through the good old way of researching on LinkedIn, and then we do have Lemlist sequences on the side. So Lemlist allows you from LinkedIn to open up the extension and just add this person into a sequence. And they would receive a LinkedIn invite, a LinkedIn message, and then a voice note, and then an email. So it does sound like stalking, but I swear it's not like that. It's very personalized, and it works. It works like a charm. And we can, once again, we're able to reproduce it in volume.
Yeah, cool. Maybe I can let you drink a sip of water, but I have some questions, regarding the influencers. So yeah, you're telling me how to target them, but how did you choose the right ones? The ones that are going to generate you revenues. How did you do that?
So one, and it's what we reply all the time with our growth team, is like it's gonna sound harsh, but the influencers that usually you want to work with you, or that come forward to work with you, are typically not the influencers that you want to target. Some of them, they're great and they know your product and they're fans of your product, and that's great. But the best way to find the best influencers out there is to really put yourself out there on the persona that you wish would be talking about you. So we just map out based on one, that they are relevant to our persona, which is sales teams. Second, that the quality of their engagement is good, meaning that they do not have comments that is just from their friends, that the type of content that they put out is not essentially an ad placement everywhere. We really value that, even if in their other types of partnerships with other tools, that they create content pieces, so that they're creating something valuable for the tools. If they're creating guides, if they're creating playbooks, that's always going to be superior content to a small picture in a CTA about your product. So we really analyze the type of content that they're putting out there for other brands, and we prefer not partnering with influencers that have 5 brand deals at a time. We invest a lot in partnerships that are long term. We're one of the few companies that in the influencer side we pay in front, meaning we pay before the partnership has been done, and we leverage this because we do want to keep partnerships in the long term, and we sign deals for a year even. But it's the type of security that an influencer that will only work with 2 tools, 3 tools max, they need. So that's the type of collaboration that we go for. And if I can add one more, is that they use the tool. It sounds obvious, but most companies out there would be looking to partner up with influencers that have no idea what the tool is. And even if you do want to have a person that has never talked or used your product before talk about you, they need to be acquainted. They need to find the value in it. And that's, we take a couple of weeks before posting, so that they can really understand the product as a whole, because it's a prerequisite.
Yeah, and I think that's very interesting, because what I see, sometimes that I see some influencers, they have, like you said, maybe 5 or 10 partnerships with different brands. So the real question then is, how can I trust them also? Because I see different messages coming from different, from same person, but for different brands. I think what you just said is very valuable. Is just select the right partners and then maybe pay upfront just to have the credibility and also to build in the long term the relationship with them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, cool.
It's not going to be the same approach for everybody. Of course, if you're going for small influencers like under 20K and lots of influencers, you're probably not going to pay up front, and you're probably going to have a different just reporting of the whole thing. But it's an approach that has worked well for us.
Yeah. So yeah, would you recommend to go maybe with someone with less followers, but with I would say targeting the right ICP and have a high impact on your business, rather than someone maybe with 100K of followers and maybe that you're going to have different partnerships with them.
Yeah, for instance, if it's an influencer that has 100K, but they have 6 brand partnerships and publish twice a day, your post is not going to get much visibility. Versus if you have an influencer that has 25, and they have a couple of brand partnerships, and they create, also very important, if they create the content themselves, because there's an insane amount of influencers out there, big ones specifically, like above 200, 300K, that are not creating the content themselves, and that's when the quality really goes down. So I think I prefer keeping our strategy between 20K to 80K, something. I think for me that's a nice sweet spot where they're not superstars on LinkedIn and they're still creating the content by themselves, but they've already got the content production just discipline. It's really discipline. When you've got a brand deal, like you've already agreed to 12 posts in 6 months, so you've got to keep on creating relevant content, which can be harsh, can be definitely harsh on the influencer side, on the creative part, and we try to collaborate and help them as much as possible, feeding them with idea banks and so on. But definitely that type of influencer is much more valuable than the ones that's gonna create a placement every couple of hours.
Yeah. Thanks for the insights. If I go back to the agencies, the marketing agencies, what resources are you giving them to succeed? Do you have some people internally also at Lemlist that helping them with the implementation? What resources are you giving them?
Our service partners, they do have a partner guide that includes, it's the first thing that they receive on onboarding. So it's all the details of the different benefits and how they can benefit. The second thing that they've got is Slack. For us, that was a key aspect to the partnership, and this is the only type of partnership at Lemlist that has this level of closeness to us, and it existed since the very first agency that ever first crazily agreed to saying yes to me when I was 2 years old, because we knew that we wanted to develop this with them. So it's a channel that is only between their team and ours. In our channel, there's even Kevin, head of product. There's Erwin as well, head of growth. So it's a deep type of collaboration right there. We want to hear their insights. We want to hear their complaints, that if they would go, for instance, through support, they would perhaps never get to us. So we want to have that type of collaboration. Inside that Slack, we created an AI bot that was actually fed with our documentation, and it was created for internal purposes, actually. It was created by one of our Alps, Antoine, which is wonderful, and he created it to help our own support people, our own product people understand better the product. And eventually we realized, like, this is an amazing asset for our partners. Let's activate it on the partners' workspace. So we did, and I did not expect to get so good results, because I thought that they valued the human aspect. They do. But the ability to have a bot that replies everything all the time and that knows the product better than I do and that anybody at Lemlist really could, that's been a huge asset for them. They can train their teams with it, because if there's a new member to the agency joining, instead of asking 1,000 new questions even to their team or ours, they will be just there playing with Buddy. It's called Buddy as in friend. And it's been a game changer also in terms of time management, just for me and partner, our other partner manager as well.
Yeah, that's super interesting. Do you have other scenario where you're using AI for I would say closer or better relationship with partner? Because you know what I see often is that some people are using tools like Gong or Mojo, to automate, the calls, etc., and autofill the CRM. But what you
Ah,
just built internally is quite cool, because then your partners are more autonomous, and at the same time you can have, I would say, maybe a deeper relationship, because you spend time with them on the real topics.
yes, and at times also through the bot, I found out about knowledge gaps that I didn't know they had, because they would be perhaps a little bit ashamed of asking this or that, or didn't want to bother asking me a specific thing. But now I see they ask the bot, and I'm like, perhaps they need like a specific doc about this, a specific guide or tutorial about this topic in specific. So it's definitely been helpful. On AI side, we do use Clap aside from it, which is the most common thing for all sales teams out there, and it saves me every time. So it's integrated directly on our HubSpot. I get all the recaps and all the meetings that are on my pipeline, on my onboarding and acquisition pipeline. We have two separate ones. So yeah, those are my most common uses of AI. Of course, I've got GPT that I've created specific chats for different reasons. So if I have a co-creation bot that already knows the different formats, so it will just reformat stuff accordingly. I've got another one that it's for communications as well with them. Of course, managing partners, you always have situations that you need just better phrasing, better way to do it. But aside from that, I think that's
Yeah.
the AI bot is definitely a top one.
Yeah, that was a good stack. Yeah. How do you involve also your product, your head of product? You mentioned Kevin earlier, and you just said that yes, through the AI and the bot, you learned that yes, so some partners have some new needs. How did your product evolve on after working with marketing agencies, and how did you involve your product manager into that strategy?
There's a few ways that we have just crossovers and ways that we collaborate together. The most important ones is in product updates. So partners need to know before any other type of client that there's an update coming forward. Even for GTMs, like it can be helpful if a partner knows that, for instance, SMS is coming forward. They can help you start pitching it to clients before the feature is released, and that you can get that feature used very quickly once it's released. So that's definitely one, and we try to keep them very updated on the betas. So they have, by default, they have access to all of our betas. Of course, it's tricky because now we have a lot of partners and betas should be taken slowly. You cannot add 10,000 people on once at once. But so yeah, we keep them updated on betas. Then we update the product information straight from our product team. So our product team, they will send the internal information about how this new feature works, and we will translate this to a doc that is publicly available for our partners. We understand that at times the help center and the marketing docs or the marketing assets out there on the website, they take a little bit until they are actually effective in life, and our partners need to know before that then. So we update a Notion, and we try to keep things as easy as manageable as possible, but we keep updated a Notion with the internal documentation that we've gotten from our product teams. And the third way is actually having our product team within our partner chats. So if there's a partner that has found a bug, it's a classic that when there's a bug, when there's a specific thing that's not working, the first thing that's gonna go red is a Slack. So Kevin will just add, for instance, the PM in charge, and the PM can have an actual call with them to figure out what's going wrong. And that type of level, like personal engagement that we can have with our product teams, with our developers, is something that our partners really, really value.
Yeah, I fully agree with you. When you have my direct contact, even more with the product, sometimes it's a game changer. I like also to deep dive into your your metrics and how you measure them. So you've joined in 2023. What KPIs did you implement, and why? Because just to finish on that, sometimes I know it's not easy to measure, when it comes to influence, etc. So how did you do that?
We're gonna tackle in the revenue shared type of partnerships. So it's gonna be service partners and affiliates for us, and then influence, because influence it's a whole other it's a unicorn right there. So on this first two, it's pure revenue, and overall on Lemlist, we're a company that values one thing, and it's revenue. So on the revenue shared type of partnership, so service partners and affiliates, we measure new MRR, upsell, and churn, and those are essentially our just integrated into our dashboards on Holistics. We have all the metrics that go that happen inside PartnerStack. They're sent towards our Holistics dashboards, and but are really the most important KPI ever is going to be new MRR. We of course focus on how many new partners we have and how many new customers are driving, how many free trials. But when I'd rather focus on one specific metric that we're constantly following rather than having a lot of indicators that we do not know how to read. We implemented that for on the partnership side, or on the revenue shared type of partnerships. One important thing that at reading the metrics versus the product-led metrics, and one of the reasons why eventually at Lemlist we realized that was a strategic move and we needed to go all forward with partnerships, is because we realized, one, that the conversion rate from free trial to paid customer on a partner-sourced lead is insanely higher than a product-led customer, which is obvious, but having the data right there, it helps you defend it. And the second thing is, of course, churn, realizing that churn is lesser when they're led by a partner. And of course, that the average basket is higher, LTV is higher. So this altogether, it tells a story, and shouts it clearly that it's worth investing there. Yeah, so that's for the service partners and affiliates. And then on the other side, for influence, we went against all that was created before. Because typically on influence, what usually one of the ways that it's done is through UTM. So you're going to give your influencer a link that has a UTM, and the influencer is not going to want to post it because it's going to reduce his visibility, and it can create a mess in tracking. And influence is honestly such a challenge to actually calculate the actual ROI behind it. So we took a different approach, also because we are still on a testing stage, so we can afford to just do things outside of the box. And what we've implemented was that for the first couple of months, 2-3 months, one of our growth people in our team, Nico, he was tracking essentially the signups that were happening related to the moment when a post was created. So he was estimating free trials according to the posts. Back then, since we had our first 10 to 15 influencers, we did not have a post every day. We could estimate it and calculate it based on the other events that could happen aside from influence. So we could estimate it pretty accurately. And with that data of the first few months, we created a base trial rate. So just calculating, okay, so a post that has a lead magnet, it's going to translate into how many free trials on average. A video is going to translate into, it's going to have this base trial rate. So we were essentially creating a formula that would depend on the type of format that they were posting. So if it's a video, if it's a lead magnet, if it's only an image, if it's only text, what's going to happen. We added an AI multiplier as well. So there's AI that reads through the post and estimates the quality of it, adds a little multiplier. We add a multiplier on the size of the following as well, because a larger influencer as a whole, they're going to have a lesser base trial rate because they have a larger audience that is less converting regularly. And I believe I'm leaving nothing out, but it's an interesting formula that we essentially created based on experience. So we were monitoring closely for a little bit, and then we are implementing simply the formula right now. And so far, it's working pretty well when we compare it to the actual data.
And are you sharing the results with the influencers? So just to tell them, maybe we think that a lead magnet is a good post on LinkedIn, etc. Are you sharing all these things with your partners?
I was asking myself that question this week. I think we're gonna be a little bit more transparent about the way that we handle data. They know how the ROI is calculated. They know that we use this formula. There's always a question about to what level of data you provide them, but I think it's worth it because the only thing that can come forward out of them is for them to improve their content according to the results. So I think it's a good measure. Yeah.
Yeah, what are the results that you see coming from the calculation of this formula? It is do you see a strong growth coming from influencers?
Yes, definitely. We've already started seeing actual new revenue coming forward. I cannot give you the exact number right here, but we've started seeing a good motion going forward. And also on Lemlist, or in the direction we're taking with influence on Lemlist, we really value the creativity behind it. We do believe that a content that it's kind of like going outside of the box of what a regular LinkedIn post will be, even if on the first calculation estimation of free trials, whatever, it's not the best for performing. That's the type of content that we want out there, and we believe that in the long run, the signups will follow. Something that we're doing also, we activated it last week as well with our growth team, is that we're doing campaigns based on the engagement on our influencers' posts.
Okay.
Yeah, which is a move that's very controversial. Many people have criticized it out there. For us, it's going great. It's creating free signups. It's bringing in some money. So it's a smart little move that you can do, which is essentially adding the people that interact in your influencer's post on a campaign. It should be a low pressure type of campaign, but it's definitely a smart move that you can do without much effort.
Yeah, you see the impact then on the signups. Yeah.
Yeah, and you see it immediately. Like it falls back really quickly.
Yeah. If we talk maybe about revenues, it's quite massive over 2 years. Can you maybe just elaborate more on that?
For sure. So on the partnership side, and this is not taken into consideration influence, because influence we're tracking it differently. On partnerships, we're generating, as of today, 3.7, almost 8 millions in annual recurring revenue, which is around 11%, almost 12% of the overall revenue on Lemlist. And when we talk about acquisition, so new revenue, we're doing around 13 to 15, it depends, varies every month, of the new revenue on Lemlist. So it means partners sourced deals are bringing around 15% of new revenue on Lemlist, which are pretty good metrics, are promising. I do believe that, as I was telling you, the biggest part of the cake has not even been bitten yet, but we're definitely hungry to do it.
Yeah, and congrats. I think in 2 years, that's a good proof of concept, and a way more to come in the future. You just told me before the recording that you hired someone. Why did you hire someone? Because it was too busy for you? You want to accelerate through partnerships?
The only way to keep on the quality of partnerships that we have is to invest enough time with them. And since I am only one person with two hands, we definitely need more people. So we recently hired Julia, coming in from PrestaShop. She was doing tech partnerships there, and hopefully she will help us open up as well that vertical in the future, because we're not doing it properly at the moment. And she came in to take over the Service Partners program. That it's the first ever that I was handling. She's been doing a great job, and we're very happy to grow on the team. Of course, Erwan, which is head of growth, so our department, he's also very, very related to it. He's also jumping in whenever there's a strategic partnership that comes forward. So it's a cute little team that's keeps on growing.
Yeah, but with massive results. you've been there for almost 2 years with Lemlist. What's your best advice that you give to someone that is just starting or maybe having some experience in partnerships?
For sure. I think partnerships is a type of role that has no quick hacks. And the reason I say this is because the thing that will always bring more results is really time spent per partner. So the more that you exchange with partners and the more that you hear what they actually need is the more results that they will bring forward to you. So I think that's the very first thing. And actually that's, I think, why me, without knowing how to read or write in partnerships, I mean, why I had a fair success is because I was really interested into hearing what these partners had to say. So I think being able to listen really to your persona is super important. The second thing is tracking. I think at first at Lemlist I was not doing a great job at being able to track impact and then being able to present impact. And that's something that I've definitely grown in and our team has grown in as well with the help of everyone and other people in the team. And the third thing is to be smart about the processes that you're automating and being smart about the processes that you're not automating, because there are processes that you're definitely not going to need to and you're going to waste more time doing it than actually, or automating it than actually doing it. And there's others that seem so that actually you do not realize that they're taking up so much space of your time, but that are so easy actually to automate. So make friends with an ops and start learning. I started learning by myself, like how to run little workflows here and there, and then I've got an awesome team in the ops side that definitely helps us a ton on that.
Yeah, cool. Thanks for that. And what would be the biggest mistake that you've made and maybe people can avoid by listening to you?
Yeah, I think I gotta say misreporting, like not being able to properly track your metrics and properly deliver them to just management. That's is the worst thing that you can do, because it's misrepresentation of what you're doing, and it's just lacking in being able to portray your efforts.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, I fully agree with you. I see that so many times. I think that we need to track everything because that's how also we get more resources to prove that we have a certain level of revenue. At the end of the day, I fully agree with your strategy. For me, partnership at the end of the strategy is to generate revenues.
Yeah.
You have different ways to achieve that, but that's the ultimate
That's
goal.
the ultimate.
But of course, reporting is very important, and to track data, etc. It's for me fundamental.
Yeah. And now that I think about it, I think second thing is not being fully transparent with partners. Of course, there's a level of transparency that, there's a level of information that you can share and you cannot. But one thing that has drastically improved the way that I just relate to my partners is that we try to be as just blunt and transparent as possible into the product roadmap, into the vision of the product. For instance, Lemlist is a product that's being built for sales teams. And whenever I have an agency that's like, there's not this API that works specifically for us, we're probably not going to build it because this is not our persona. But there's these other alternatives. So that type of transparency, even if the answer is not what the partner wants to hear, it's more valued than an average, just very vague reply.
Yeah.
That transparency, it's needed for your partners.
Yeah, I fully agree with you. You need to be blunt with your partners. Do you want to add something, Lily?
No, I'm happy to have been invited. Thank you so much. Thank you very much for having me here. I'd be happy to exchange with just tips with anybody out there. So my DMs are open.
Yeah, okay. So just before closing, maybe we can just have a quick check on what's going on for the future of Lemlist and for you.
For sure. At Lemlist, next lever is going to definitely open up the resellers landscape. It is something that we've been trying out for a while without really without really being able to tackle it as a whole. We have as a head of sales Jan on our team, which comes from HubSpot, and HubSpot has this amazing resellers machine. So we want to build this new program that is specifically focused towards integrators. That it's not the same as agencies, is a different lever, and that's definitely coming forward. I hope that this plus influence plus the efforts or scaling the current programs, it will take us to at least 25% of revenue of Lemlist. Then we've got, of course, scaling the influencer part, that it's still a program that's proof of concept. And hopefully in the, let's say, priority number 2, opening up the tech partnership side. Because that's going to open a whole new window that we haven't even touched. And it can definitely open up a lot of opportunities.
Cool. A lot of things to follow in 2026.
Yes, lots of things.
Yeah. So if we want to be in touch with you, where can people contact you?
For sure. I think my LinkedIn DMs are always open. So happy to just hear what people have to say.
Yeah. So maybe just Lilibeth Acuña, Acuna.
Yes. Love that you pronounce my name correctly.
Spanish.
Yes. So it's Lelebet.
Yeah.
H. Yeah. Acuna and on LinkedIn. And yeah, that's the fastest way to reach me, honestly.
Great. Thanks a lot for sharing. I think, and congratulations. I think you've built such a great thing, such a great engine in like 2 years. So congrats for that. It was a pleasure having you today. And as always, I invite you to like, share this episode, and of course rate us 5 stars. It's all the way how we can be found by many people. And I'll be happy to welcome you again for our next episode.